So then I found alcohol inks, and I was already using colors to color salt crystals to put in epoxy. And that's how I ended up with coloring the baking soda. But if you do this, they have super fast thin, and then they have original super thin. You want to get original super thin. The super fast thin cures too fast. It doesn't give it time to soak into the bottom. So on this piece here, this was all filled in with coffee grinds, but the super fast thin, the super fast thin didn't go all the way to the bottom. So as I'm turning, the coffee grinds are coming out. You can, if it's a thicker, yeah, if it's a big, thick portion, yeah, you can layer it. And then if you want color, you can separate, do layers in the color. And in fact, here's one that it's ready to turn. I can just, sorry. And that one's, been had the coffee grinds, and I'll go through that. But okay, as it comes to coloring it, I take my Dell pan I got at the home show. I mean the restore. Pick what color I want to make. Now these are dyes from Lumelite. The price on it used to be like $8 a bottle, but they've gone up to like 15. But I've been using this bottle for 6 years, and I'm still like only a quarter of way through. That's how concentrated it is. Yeah, yeah, it'll last forever. Uh, no, as far as dyeing the wood itself, I started immersion dyeing, where I got fifth, like a barrel with 15 gallons of denatured alcohol. Yeah, and this has been immersion dyed, and then I'll let it sit in the 24 hours, and that's immersion dyeing. No, I put the dye in the alcohol, denatured alcohol. It's also for drying wood blanks. It doesn't take that much. It might be 3 or 4 drops of this to dye 15 gallons. No, no. The problem with that is it will only die if lucky a 16th of an inch, unless it's really like bug holes and stuff. And then where the worm feces are in there, it might soak in through that, or if it's extremely rotted, but it won't soak very deep. This one was blue immersion dyed, and the purple is actually lacquer thinner, lacquer 50-50 lacquer and lacquer thinner with dyes, aluminite dyes, and that's the purple. I brush it on until And brush it on. If it's really punky, I keep brushing it on until it actually solidifies the wood. And the lacquer thinner, if you brush a coat on, you brush the second coat on, the lacquer thinner will dissolve the first coat and sink deeper in. But that piece had just one coat of lacquer hardener, and this one was dyed with purple lacquer. Okay, so we're going to get back to how we're making this concoction here. So we take our dye mixture or dye, add some 91% isopropyl alcohol. You want to do it with at least 91. And it takes maybe about 3 or 4 tablespoons of alcohol. Mix that together. Then we add baking soda. No. But the more baking soda you are, the lighter the color will be. Uh, it'll be more whitish to the color. No, the baking soda is what is going to react with the super glue to harden. Yeah, it's an accelerant. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. If you look, yeah, I didn't mention it. The lid on this vessel was actually loose, and I was working on this. I started on this on Tuesday, and the lid was too loose, so I put coffee grounds on there and hit it with the super glue and returned it so that it fit tight. Uh, so it was like a matter of 30 minutes you could fix that. And this one's going to be a mint green. If you see if I put less, it'd be darker. The But let me show you first. I still use coffee grinds. I use we use a Keurig, and actually, my wife uses an espresso pods. I found the coffee in the pods are actually finer ground. So if you want to do, or if you know a barista, they could maybe get you some espresso grounds that they've used. Uh, Here we go. Okay. Anyways, here are the 2 boxes so that you know what to get. Uh, Now the original super thin, I buy it from Starbond. Yeah, they're 2 different ones. Uh, and Starbond, it's like $52 for a 16 ounce. The little 2 ounce bottles are like $10. But if you have more than $50 orders, free shipping. So I use the free shipping. But here, let me show you how this works. Yes. No, actually, I have found that if I'm catching a crack in a bowl and it's a wider crack, I actually put a little water in it to make it kind of sticky and pack it in there so it doesn't fall through. And anyways, when you get the bottles, they come with micro tips. I got the plastics. Yeah. So let me let that dry for a few seconds. I can send that around. No, the coffee grinds will act as an accelerant. You can, but I don't. And when I'm doing the patching cracks in the surface, I will actually take some coffee grinds and rub across it to dry off any glue that's on the surface. Anyhow, make sure there's no glue on there. Okay, those are glued together. You can pass that around. But that's how fast it is. And you can try breaking that. But with it works the same way with the baking soda. Now, I don't think we should burn this in here, right? What I do is I take it outside and light this on fire. In about 2 minutes, it burns off the alcohol, and you're ready to use it. And that's what those you've seen them little packets. That's what that was. You can make any color you want as long as you have the dye. Yeah, that was just baking soda and dye. Yeah, yep. So you don't have to go out and buy this color. As long as you have the dye. Pre-natured alcohol would work. Yeah, baking soda. Yeah, and then burn off the alcohol. No, no. Now you can put mica powders in there, but I don't exceed maybe 20% on the mica powders because you put super glue on mica and it doesn't absorb it. Mica powders won't absorb super glue. So you have to watch how much you put in there because uh no, what it does, it's kind of like putting cinnamon in coffee. It just floats to it won't absorb water. Yeah. See, now, so say we have a piece you want to fill. I usually, this one here is pretty solid. If if it was something that had like punky stuff on it. Say like this here is way too soft. I take one of these burr bits the last time I took sort of class, and I would just route that out with a drill. But that's carbide bits. Those were like what, $16 a set. So getting back to this here, uh, actually got some yellow and coffee grind, orange and coffee grinds here. It's kind of, and these are another handy little tool to pack it in there. Any questions while I'm doing this? Huh? Yeah, if you have a hole that goes all the way through, I usually just put a piece of tape on the other side to temporarily hold it in place. If it's a larger hole, that's probably the way I would do it. If it's a smaller hole, like on this vase, it started to open up again. I'll take the baking soda mixture and put a couple of drops of water in there, just enough to make it where it will. That was on. They sell them on Amazon or eBay. There's like a set of 12, and I think they're like $18 or 10 for $18. I'm going to give. I forgot to print them out. I'll give Tom the stuff I used tonight, and just to give you a reference, I just picked out one out of Amazon. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I put them in a drill bit because you really don't need high speed to clean out the. Oh yeah, well yeah. So I put 3 or 4 drops of water in there just to make it a little. You don't want to make it soupy, but you want to make it where it sticks together. Huh? No, unless you want a blue smile. No, then it'll hold in place. Uh, just kind of rub this across a little bit. Yeah, it was that piece of oak I sent around that had the lacquer thinner on it. Yeah, that was the same tree. Yeah. So anyhow, we'll rub that across there and my super glue. And these, you almost have to get these microchips. Uh, and when you order a kit, they come with them. No, they some yeah. Some people will put them in acetone. So anyhow, it's just about that quick to I'm not going to do this whole thing. I'll just do half of it, and then it would probably have to be sanded and the finish touched up. Yeah, the original thin, it said it's 30 to 60 seconds that'll cure, where the super fast was like 5 to 10 seconds. And that's why it wasn't working because it wasn't going down to the bottom of the coffee grinds or the. Okay, let me hit this with a little sandpaper here. And let me grab a pack of wipes here. And the trick to these wipes is when you use them, I store them face down. That way they don't dry out. Alrighty, you can see that was just a quick, but that how fast it is to fill a crack with that. That was the uh, baking soda with the colorant and the super glue. Yeah. Uh, the coffee grounds, if you want brown, a dark brown, it works. I mean, yeah, that's the only difference is if you want other color variations other than brown. I did. That's this color I'm got here. It's color coffee grounds and orange. Orange things. Yep. And this one here is pretty thick, so you actually want to do it in kind of like 1/8 of an inch layers. I have used it to fix stuff. Yeah. Oh, it holds up great. Oh, as far as in well, it won't have the brilliance that mica powder has. Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't have the brilliance. Yeah, it's smoking. Yeah, I'm gonna step back. But you can see that stuff smoking. That's the baking soda setting it off. And I usually do that in front of a fan. Any questions while we're doing this? Yeah. Yeah. It's baking soda. Yeah. 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 The thin, original thin super glue. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, the super fast stuff was would react so fast that it wouldn't get to the bottom of the powder. So, anyways, this is that enough fill, Terry? I light it on fire. I'm just not doing it in here. If the guys want to go outside, we can do it. Yeah. I I do this in my basement. I know I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't, but I do it in my basement. But and it'll have a flame about that high, like you do at the Greek restaurant. Okay, so uh, when you get a piece, see this one's already been routed, but I'll take a piece and let me find the. Oh, here it is. Another one that now these are the bits I use to. It's another different bit. They call them wood carving bits from China. But you put that tip in the crack and just kind of run it across, and it opens it up. We have an extension cord that I can. If I can reach it. So Yeah, clear out. Make open it. Actually, open it a little bit to get more of the baking soda and stuff down in there, and it actually makes it stronger. Huh? Yeah. Well, I'm going to send this around. I don't know if you've seen this. And this one here, I actually, you can also put glitter in with the baking soda. You know, just pass it straight. And you can actually make these where they glow in the dark also. Fun, so, yeah, here it is here. Where was that one? This one. And anyways, we were talking about the how we do the alcohol ink. These are bath salts. I take and I can color them and put them in epoxy resin. Uh, but here, I'll pass this around. It is a black light. You can see how the crystals, but that's bath salts. And the thing with bath salts, if you get it in epoxy resins and you cut through them, you don't lose the sharpness on your tools. All you do is taste salt from, and here's the black light. Oh, okay. But the dye, alcohol dye, and burn off the dye. Yep. Yep. That is right here. I go through and see which stuff glows in the dark. Like these certain powders, mica powders will glow in the dark, like that one there. Well, so we're going to get away from this and we're going to talk about some epoxy. But here's the bowl that it's been glued together, and you can try and part. It still needs a little more uh, filler inside that crack there, but you can try and break that. It okay. Now we're going to have a little time with epoxy resin, and we're not going to talk too much about epoxy because I actually like to do other systems with lacquer thinner and dye to strengthen the woods when it's punky. But another method that I've used, and I just tried this out for the first time, is I had rough turned the piece. I'm going to take a plastic bag and put a zip tie around the tenon, and the bag came up, and I'd hollowed it out some. Had a bag on the inside, filled it with. I was actually use sand, but I would recommend something you can turn if it in case the resin went in there. So maybe like rice or something like that. Uh, and then bag the outside. Then put it in a container. Like I said, this one is, I like to flex stretch flex bag. They seem to hold up pretty well. Like I said, you get that in there, put a little sand on the bottom, and then just fill up all the way around the item with sand. So you're not pouring in a whole bucket full of epoxy. And like I said, this one I tried and it worked, but the bag got so tight that there's still some spots that didn't fill in. But I'll send that around but it saved quite a bit on epoxy doing it that way. Yeah. Yeah, there's around the top so that it wouldn't collapse in on there. And another thing I like to do is say I rough the bowl blank down and I want to keep my tannins. This was actually a container that the pineapple spears came in, cut a hole in the bottom so that the tenon would stick through there. And I still have the center from original center, and I could put it between centers and clean that tenon up.
Try to get off the plastic.
Yeah, I'll cut it and start peeling it off. I just left it on there so people could see. Okay, so here we go. And say like this one here, you got a crack here, or you want to fill this side face in, uh, but you don't want to pour a whole thing of epoxy. This is about an eighth of an inch plexiglass. Put it in there, let it heat up till it sags. And about at 350 degrees, it'll be about 10 minutes. It will start to sag. Okay, see it sags? No. Anyways, yeah, you put it on there and just wait for it to cool off. There's two pieces of camphor in there. This is heating that up in the oven, about 300 degrees, 350. And I put that wooden bowl in there, so when you see it sag, you know it's ready. So anyhow, you end up with this. And I put that little cardboard at the top to leave a gap at the top. And you hot melt that on that side, pour in through the top there, and you save a lot of epoxy. Now, a lot of times when I first started this, I would use hot melt glue. And like 30% of the time, it would leak out. And what I had found is I got this tool. This one And this tool here, either one, they're like $20 each one. They make to repair plastic bumpers. Uh, well, I'll put the hot melt glue on there, and then I'll put these on and just smear the hot melt in with it, and it seals it up. Let's plug this one in. So you can unplug that. These are set, like I said, to melt fix plastic bumpers. Uh, hold on for a second. Gonna wait for this to come up temperature. Well, you see how, I mean, you can cut this back a little bit, but how they have the pocket at the top for the air to come up. And that, like I said, saves you a lot of epoxy. And actually, the wife had me putting in some dried flowers in there. Yeah. Yeah. It's done. So, any questions while we're waiting? So, like, if something like this, I was going to pour epoxy, you could do it, like I said, with the bag inside. The only problem is on surfaces like this, you have to bridge it, or else the bag will just suck in there. And I do that the same way. You can just put a piece of plastic and bridge the open spots so that the bag doesn't. It has to be pretty stiff. Yeah, yeah. But like the lettuce comes in them packages, plastic like that will work. You just can't heat them because those when you heat them they shrink. Okay, so I'm just going to show you on one edge here. Done. Ready for the hot pockets? It doesn't matter either one. I think I use high temp usually, uh, but let's see if that's hot enough. Okay. So anyhow, but on this, like I said, you really have to. This stuff here helps to have push it in there and seal it up. And what's neat about this is if your hot melt has kind of start to get cold, that'll reheat it and melt it in there. Yeah, I'll send them out. Yeah, like I said, there, there's that type, and then there's this one here with a little V. I kind of like the rounded head. Now you can unplug that; that'll stay warm for a while. Uh, yeah. But anyway, I'll just pass that around so you kind of get an idea. I only did that one edge. Huh? Okay, so on epoxy, I have done the top coat, but that's a pain in the butt to get a nice surface without air bubbles. A lot of times I end up putting lacquer, spraying lacquer over. Uh, I mean, if it's a high end item, I do the epoxy. But epoxy, it's like 2 or 3 days of coating it and babysitting it, and yeah, I've never been able to get it done on one coat. Usually 2 or 3, and then it's like, you got a few. Yeah, the rotisserie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, like I said, if it's something for like a craft fair, I'd shoot it with lacquer and be done with it. To epoxy, yeah, yeah. Well, that it.